gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Story Time with Aladdin at the amazing Rose Hill Community Centre, promoting the best in health, well-being, and community partnership and vitality. Your story today will be Rabbit and Fox. Once upon a time, Rabbit was grazing in the field, munching on a carrot and some green, delicious herbs. But over in the distance, Mr. Fox was spying on Rabbit. And he said to himself, hiding behind a bush, "A nice, fat, juicy rabbit would be delicious for lunch." So Mr. Fox proceeded to gingerly creep up behind Rabbit, who was still munching away at his carrot, and his green herbs, and his sage. But luckily enough, his rabbit instincts kicked in, and he turned round and saw Mr. Fox leaping through the air with his razor-sharp teeth and gigantic claws. But he said, "Stop, Mr. Fox. Did you know it is unhealthy to eat rabbit unless you've had a drink first of all?" And quite true, because 1 in 3 people suffer from indigestion due to bad food combining. So Mr. Fox thought, you have a point, Rabbit. Rabbit said, "Well, before you eat me, why don't you have a drink in the lake to my right? I will take you there." So Rabbit proceeds with Mr. Fox and takes him to the lake. And Mr. Fox has a delicious drink. Meanwhile, Rabbit picks up a stone, a very heavy stone, and hides it behind his back. Well, when Mr. Fox finished drinking from the fountain, the rabbit looks and said, "Look, if you open up your mouth and shut your eyes, I will jump into your mouth, and that will save your back. Because as you know, 1 in 4 people suffer from bad lower back. They have lower back problems due to sitting most of the time and bad posture." So Mr. Fox said, a very good point. So now Mr. Fox had finished drinking from the fountain and then said to Rabbit, "Are you ready?" Rabbit opened up his mouth. Sorry, Mr. Fox opened up his mouth and shut his eyes. And Rabbit saw his chance, and he picked the heavy stone up and threw it into the mouth of Mr. Fox. Mr. Fox was choking and spluttering. He was struggling. He was rendered helpless, crawling on the floor. He could hardly move because the rock was stuck in his throat. Well, Rabbit approached Mr. Fox, who was now definitely rendered helpless and useless, and looked over him and said, "Mr. Fox, I will give you a little advice. Never believe anything simply because it is a spoken word. Always question the truth. question, investigate, interpret, experiment, and find out the truth for yourself. You see, Mr. Fox, the truth comes in 3 parts. Your truth, their truth, and the truth itself. After that, Rabbit bounces along, thanking his lucky stars that he is now free. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for listening to Story Time with Aladdin. Bye-bye. Boing, 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 boing.